Hey everybody, welcome to our NFT panel today for Elevate. It's by Pepper Content and Indie Folio Network. Today we've got some fantastic folks who are going to tell us the why, what, and hows of NFTs. NFTs, as you guys know, are quite the rage right now. Every week we wake up to some amazing founders coming up with interesting use cases. A lot of good, great VCs also pumping in money, and even close to India, very recently we've got A-list stars like Salman Khan, coming on board as brand ambassadors of some tokens as well as NFT marketplaces. So we've got a bunch of amazing experts today, and I'd like to just start by introducing them one by one. Prateek's joined in. Hi, Prateek. So first, I would like to introduce you to Prateek, better known as Digital Prateek. You may know him from that handle. Prateek's a digital branding strategist and an NFT collector, as well as a creator too. Next up, we've got Abhinav. Abhinav used to head design at an academy and currently runs 10K Designers, which is an internet design university. He's really bullish on NFTs, as you'll see on his social channels. Then we have Farheen. Farheen sold her military technology startup at a really young age, and right now is building an XR startup where she's using NFTs in a really interesting way. I'm sure we'll see that later on. And then last up, we have Jayanti. Jayanti is the founder of Polygon, a leading Indian blockchain startup. Recently, the valuation of Polygon's native token zoomed past $10 billion, making Jayanti a crypto billionaire as well. So thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in and coming on board. To give you a quick introduction about me, I'll be the moderator for today. I'm the co-founder of Indie Folio Network. We run two platforms, indiefolio.com and getcreator.in. We essentially help designers, animators, and all kinds of creative professionals get access to creative opportunities, full-time or freelance, from some top startups. So that's about it. I'm going to just dive into the first question. What I wanted to start off, guys, is by just getting and picking your brains on explaining our audience today about what an NFT really is. Right? There are so many interesting analogies and definitions flying around. So starting, if you can start from you, Farheen, if you can tell us, can you explain NFTs in a few seconds for me?
Yes, so how I see NFTs is unit of ownership in the metaverse, where NFTs serve as gate to building communities that engage in play to earn games, social experiences, and even governance.
Super. Prateek?
So for me, I would think like if I'm explaining to a 12-year-old girl today who might be just attending a school, and if somebody asks what is NFT, that girl should be able to answer. And for her, probably if she's holding an iPad, she would have a pen or maybe a notebook. She might have a ball pen or a ink pen. So that pen, if that pen was gifted by Virat Kohli, let's say, with a sign on it, then that was a unique pen, चाहे वो पार्कर की हो या किसी की भी हो. So that pen, whether it is of Parker or any kind of brand, that is a unique, just one thing in the entire world probably. That might be just an NFT, a non-fungible token, because it cannot be duplicated, it cannot be anything else unless Virat Kohli comes and signs another one. So that is just one definition, and then there is utility based and all. Maybe we can go later on, but that's a very simplest definition for a 12-year-old kid.
Thanks, Prateek, for that. Always coming with interesting answers. Next up, Abhinav, if you can help us.
I mean, NFTs, the cool part is NFTs can be what you want it to be, right? It can be JPEGs, it can be collectibles, it can be something else. But overall, the way I see it is NFT is a new unit. It's like a new building block of the internet. And what it can let us do, of course, we're still exploring. But the way I see it is what if every project or startup or art that you started, what if instead of creating a company, getting investors, getting users, taking the money, growing it, what if instead of all of that, you could create an NFT and use that as a unit or a currency within your community? So NFTs allow any community to really add markets. Yeah.
Super interesting. And lastly, Jayanti, if you can give your opinion as well.
Yeah, so before I jump into the my way of saying NFTs is that, like, I've seen the creation of NFTs like EIP, the EIP we have for NFT. I know the founders of the who created, like, co-creators of the NFTs standard. And then I've seen the evolution of NFTs, like how it was meant for something else, and now like people are using for something else, and then what people are like not just for the digital art, they are using for multiple other ways. So I define NFT as a kind of no tool to represent very complex digital, physical, or financial assets, derivatives, or any items in a simpler form, right? As Abhinav said correctly, like you can. What if you can just kind of use companies art as a NFTs, like so the thing is that NFT can be kind of represented as a kind of tool to define a complex system underneath, right? So now like you had a kind of complex system, and now you have an NFT, right? And you can use that NFTs in simple form and transfer, use the collateral everywhere, trade anything you kind of can do with the NFT or asset, I would say, right? So I see. I it just doesn't see as a simple art form or digital art or kind of some kind of penguins or anything. I see is an underlying value in it, right? And that will kind of that mindset will change your perspective as an NFT. So in Polygon, when you stake it, right? When you stake your tokens to become a validator in the system, it gives you NFT, by the way. So your validator slot is also NFT, right? When you move from Polygon to Ethereum chain, exit your tokens, and you have to
Mhm.
wait for some time. But that
Right,
time period is also an NFT. You can sell your time period to someone else and kind of get the
right.
early tokens, which is kind of underlying and sitting for the security reason. So you can always kind of think of that as a assets.
Got
So yeah,
it.
I think
Got it.
that's
Got it.
yeah.
Look, thanks a lot, guys, for all your interesting explanations, both short and long. And I hope the audience kind of understands a good gist of NFTs right now. Next up, I would love to jump to asking a question to Abhinav. So if you guys follow Abhinav on social platforms, one thing I particularly love about what you do is your analogies on all tech concepts or generally any kinds of concepts. So I was very curious to know your point of view on generally the core of NFTs theme, right, which is artificial scarcity. What is it and why does it have worth?
So artificial scarcity is definitely one part of that. I think what's the reason so many people are getting into it, of course, making money flipping NFTs is a great reason for most people. But I think beyond that, for us, for creators, people who've been in startups, people who've been working on the internet, I think what NFTs represent is a new type of, let's just say, building block, right? Artificial scarcity is one part of it, right? Which is um, what you can effectively create is, as long as you've got people, you've got a community. It could even be just a group chat or a like a Discord or WhatsApp. What if together you could participate in financial products, right? So the interesting thing about NFTs is that it's really in the eyes of the beholder. It's really depending, it really pulls you in to participate, whether that's for speculative reasons, whether that's for creative reasons, or whether it's to actually build an entire company or
Right.
even just art. So yeah.
Understood. Fair enough. So I think it's good for people to know that it's a much broader thing than what people may just see right now in the public, and it's good for you to kind of understand the core concepts. Um, Jayanti, I had a question for you. Polygon is powering so many marketplaces. A lot of them also are selling NFTs. A lot of folks are saying right now that if you're just thinking of NFTs, are already too late. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not too late. It's too early, I would say. So yeah, NFT just starting, and what happens is that the same thing happen in DeFi is that when you start something, people just start creating some random stuff on the blockchain. Some scam happens along the way, and
Hmm.
then after sometimes like good use cases emerge, like so in DeFi you can see in 2017, since 2017 there is a DeFi or exchanges, that those are the things going on. But now you can see there is a Uniswap, Aave, Compound, like big protocols are there in DeFi, right? In NFTs, I will see the same. I'm seeing the same trend. So it's just started with simple JPG, PNGs, and etc. Without kind of people just minting and airdropping everywhere. But and then sometimes like you see a good use case like a loot project. If you guys know, like very well known NFT project, and it was unique in a sense. It was not just a kind of JP, like it's just not a kind of animal picture or anything, but you can just use that and build on top of that, build your community, build your project on top of that. So I think
Right.
there are one type of NFTs, there are no profile pictures. It's a very popular right now, just to showcase you are a supporter of NFTs, you own some kind of digital arts. That's great. And I'm
Right.
seeing now the next trend would be, or in the future there will be have many other kind of NFT use cases as similar to Loot Project or maybe Play to Earn. As you can see, Nexus, like NFTs are driving the force there as well.
Right.
So I see kind of this is too early, or I think just say early for anyone to jump in. So
Right.
yeah, I think it's not late for sure. Yeah. And I'm seeing like investors also coming into this space, Web2 investors as well. So
Right.
definitely it's early. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. And like
Yeah.
we've been discussing, if you're a creator, I think you should definitely look it up and see how you can utilize it. I think a lot of change happened when the internet also came in the 90s for creative professionals, right? And the ones who did not adapt failed. So we are in a very interesting time. So as creators, that's something you must look out for. Next up, I want to go to you, Pratik. You launched your NFT project, Jor Parivara, and it has, I think, over $100,000 in sales on OpenSea. At least that's what I could see publicly. um, People really believe that if you want to get into NFTs, you need to have a technical background, and as far as I know, you have a digital heavy background. So how does one get started with an NFTs? What I was keen to know.
You start with all the mistakes which you can make and can own when you are not technical. Because just like Jayanti was saying, like loot projects and all, like it is not my cup of tea. Unless I have technical background or I have technical people around me, I cannot create that kind of project. So now, should I just wait for that kind of technical team, or should I just be self-aware about what I can do? So the way I am seeing NFTs is a little bit on a, not a little bit, I would say a very broad perspective. I'm seeing NFTs like Instagram 2015, where people didn't even know that they would become influencers in 2021, and they would charge lakhs of rupees to brands when crypto spaces would come, when CoinDCX, Polygon, yeah, whoa, brands might come and just pay them for their financial advices on an Instagram reel. Who thought that in 2015? Similarly, right now, if you just think that these kind of projects will come and now you should only work on that, is not the case. Because I feel that I was not able to be successful on YouTube. I was not successful on Instagram. I was not successful in any of these things in a very huge aspect, because probably I didn't have that background. I didn't have that finance. I didn't have that early adoption technology phase as well. Where probably in 2017, I was trying to jump into Alexa skill development. But in India, nobody still is able to, or maybe the consumer base is still less. But now NFTs are there. So people have to think that what is their existing business. If you're a restaurant owner, you definitely can come up with a restaurant NFT membership portals. Like I remember when I was in school, and my friend's father, when they used to say that, hey, मेरे पापा है ना ये वाले club में member है, and we used to think, wow यार कमाल है यार इसके, ये तो बड़ा आदमी है मतलब, now just imagine if you tomorrow, like I'm thinking that huge, when you will have kids and in your NFT public wallet, when you will have, okay fine, I have one friend, I have one cool cat, I have one this, I have that, our kids would be like flexing like crazy. My dad is an early investor in friends, you know so there are, so I mean, this is just one out of many things which people are not realizing. People are just going so technical, and I feel that they are not recognizing their own strengths. If your
Right.
strength is into building business, why not just deploy that? And that is exactly what I did in my use cases. Like I wanted to always sell conference tickets, which I couldn't. Why? Because Indian mentality is कौन 10,000 रुपए देगा यार एक 2 दिन के इवेंट के लिए, पैसा नहीं देते. And today people are paying 0.55 Ethereum to my token just to get like conference tickets, just to get dinner meetings with me. Who am I have done 0.1% as compared to a lot of people. But it's the use
Yeah.
case, it's the long-term vision. I came up with Joe Toons, not a Cartoon Network, my own IP, Joe Toons. I have 22 intellectual properties. So all these, like just like Jayanti is saying, the technicalities behind Loot What I'm understanding is, if I can build IPs in 11 years, if I'm able to build one IP which is digital Pratik, why not me spending next 30 years in building 22 different intellectual properties which are there inside Jor Parivar, which would emotionally connect with different people, you know? So
Yeah, I
Right.
think
so many, it's an infinite pool of use cases which people will see eventually over a period of time, and that's where, like, just like people would gift this kind of boxes of pen written with their name, people would be actually giving intellectual properties yahan pe and then gifting
Right.
people, you know. So
I think
I
Pratik,
think that's how it will
yeah,
be.
Pratik said very well on IP side of the things, right? And it's funny, like he said, people are flexing their kind of posting about their dads being in some club. I was just checking the video yesterday from Gabbar Singh. He tweeted something about that, and I realized that this NFT word can be basically, you in NFT word, the kids and the youth doesn't have to boast about their dads. They can boast about themselves because they will be so kind of independent. So yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah.
Absolutely. I
Exactly.
think,
I
yeah,
mean,
sorry. Yeah, sorry. Sorry. Go.
I'm so sorry.
Uh,
I remember this YouTube video from there's this great guy. I don't remember his famous. He is so famous. He bought these HDFC shares worth 25,000 rupees 20 years ago for a kid जिसका birthday था. All right, and he gifted 25,000 rupees ke HDFC shares 20 years ago. Now that kid is filthy rich right now, you know. So what if, I mean, I literally am giving gifts. I have given one metaverse to two of my gangsters in my team when it was zero point 0.3 ethereum absolutely for free, and
right.
right now they're trading at 2 ethereum. Their life is made. They're not going to sell it. I have given Galaxy Fight Club to two of my gangsters. Like when I say gangsters, they're teammates basically, you know. So their life is already
Correct.
made. So I'm stopped paying in Indian currency now. All I'm doing is I'm giving them real estate properties. So it's like so many use cases. If you are a brand owner, you can literally payroll 6 months in advance with one NFT if your employees trust you.
Right. Absolutely. I think a lot of people. For me, the best thing I tell my friends is you want to get verified on Instagram, right? And I think kind of starts there, where that's the first level of superficial metaverse we are living in right now, where that verification tick is so important. I think to sum up, what we've all discussing so far was that, guys, there's the internet. There's also Slack and Discord channels today. Join them, meet the right folks, hear them out, and you'll learn a lot about that. I personally really like Honestly by Tanmay Bhatt. I think he's explained that in a very easy manner also. It's not extremely detailed, but if you see his descriptions and bios below, there's a lot there also for me. So that should definitely help you out. And as you can hear from all the people saying, I think you should get on this right away. If you're in this panel, I'm assuming you're curious, so you should get on that. Next up, Farheen, I wanted to ask you, you've co-founded Interality and you're helping creators get in touch with their favorite, sorry, you're helping users get in touch with their favorite creators using augmented reality, and also there's NFTs there. So um, I was keen to know, because you're working in this creator ecosystem, if you can tell our audience how NFTs right now are helping some creators make money, or or what are the other ways in which NFTs are really helping creators today.
Yes, it's very interesting for creators because finally they can monetize their skills. It could be art, but also their reputation. When somebody is very well reputed, if they put out something, it means something. It has value because a lot of people believe in it. So this is the starting. I think right now we have barely scratched the surface. If you look at top social media creators, not a lot of them have come up with their own NFTs. So we're just getting started
Right.
with what I'm building. It's infrastructure and finding our stack in the whole metaverse infrastructure, which right now is 3D world. So you have NFTs that serve as gates to building communities that have application in like I said, social experiences, games, entertainment, and then you have a world that supports all of this. So when you have that, when you have a world and you have social experiences, you have digital goods, where NFTs is a big part of that. There are multiple ways you can monetize this. You could create digital goods, and what we have seen with the big social media platforms that creators have been on for the longest time is that centralized platforms have made it very difficult for people to, for at least users to to have some value to the content they see, because everything was free. Google and Facebook made all the content free. So it seems like a dumb idea to buy an image that you see in thousands on Facebook and Instagram every day. But with NFTs, now the narrative is changing. Now, whenever you create an image or a piece of content, whether it's a video or now it could be more immersive AR, VR content, that would have value. So you are not only getting a smarter paywall, but endless possibilities of what kind of digital products you could make. So it's fueling the next generation of creator economy.
Absolutely. I think, NFTs are a great, complement to all the decentralization happening in everything we are doing today. So completely agree, out there. Because you mentioned communities, I actually wanted to jump on asking Abhinav one more question. 10K Designers is a hyper engaged community and extremely enthusiastic as well, because I've interacted with some of your students also. For everybody right now who's building a community, what are some ways in which NFTs can be used? I think you spoke about it a little bit, but if you can expand on that.
Yeah. I think the kind of relationship creators have had with their community as well as audience has been one of creating, and then all they do is consuming, right? Which is, let's say I am a creator and I am creating a YouTube video. The only option that my community or my audience has is they consume that, whether it's a video, whether it's tweets, or maybe there's paid content. Maybe I work on courses, merch, right?
Right.
But what that misses out on is, what if you are actually, how do you actually get some value out of this, right?
Right.
So, and by value, I mean, what if you are one of the first 100 subscribers of, let's say, somebody who's big right now, let's say Mr. Beast,
Right.
right? For you to be the first 100 subscribers of Mr. Beast, you are taking a bet on Mr. Beast.
Right.
He is a relative nobody at that point. But that kind of support that you're showing by being one of the first 100 subscribers, you don't really get to see any of the upside of that, right? Today, Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber out there. But you, as a top first 100 subscriber, you probably get nothing out of it, right? Maybe you bought a sweatshirt, maybe you bought something from that, but that's no financial return. So what NFTs do let you do is they can turn your community members almost into investors. So
Right.
in the same way that you would buy maybe merch, courses, or even products and services from your favorite creators, an NFT is a new type of digital object, right? What it represents, that's really up to the creator, right? It could be a JPEG. So for example, I love the clubs example, because today, like, I guess in our parents' age, maybe there were golf clubs, right? I'm a part of this Bangalore club or whatever.
Right.
Today you've got Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? Which is, if you own this image of an ape, it's a monkey.
Right.
That is worth $100,000 today. And that gives you access to a particular community. And you having bought early, right? I think the mint was maybe 70,000 rupees, 0.08 ETH. You actually got to see that financial upside that you can
Right.
sell anytime for Ethereum. So I think it just creates a new way for communities to engage
Absolutely.
outside what has already existed. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, using them as investors is a very interesting, thing you mentioned. And, if anybody's kind of started up, I'm sure you've binged some Y Combinator things, and they always say, get your first 100 users to love you as compared to the 10,000 who may not like you. And this is one more incentive from the other side, finally, for them to kind of come in early too. So I think, kudos to NFTs. It's going to help communities a lot. I wanted to jump back. So I'm nearing the last few questions now, guys. Want to jump back to you, Fareen, on integrating NFTs in your business model, right? I know for a fact that you are creating a stack, like you said, but you've integrated NFTs right now, as you mentioned, as a gateway for community creation. If I am a business, how can I leverage NFTs and in what all ways?
So it's NFTs is part of the infrastructure. It's 3D world, and you have NFTs in the marketplace. So especially when you're creating a 3D world, you have assets, you have goods, and those could be NFTs. So those could be tokens or the NFTs, and we have different standards like the RC 1155, the 72120. So there are different ways. So it totally depends on the kind of business you have. And definitely it's a smart paywall. It's a much smarter paywall with
Right.
smart contracts in place, which make the whole system more efficient, in terms of systems and processes, and the offerings that you can now offer. So yeah.
So, would it be safe to say that anybody who's kind of creating assets is probably, or maybe a virtual kind of a world, or has a virtual touch point with the customer, should be thinking of NFTs, or is it any kind of businesses in the near future?
So I think any digital flow, where
Right.
there's digital flow of value, can be turned into an asset, and NFTs would make sense in that case.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I think last two bits I wanted to discuss with you guys, and these are some kinds of, I wouldn't say controversies, but other opinions which people kind of throw around. I wanted to ask you, Pratik, because I know you have an interesting answer here. Is a lot of people say, NFTs are fads. It's a fad. What's your take on that?
First of all, let's change the terminology over here. Like fad is equal to fabulous and daring, which is what my definition for fad is. When you say NFTs are fad, baki fad jo aapko rakhna hai rakho. For NFTs, like it is fabulous and daring. Unless you are not fabulous enough with talent, not look wise, like talent and skill set to pull off a brand with respect. Okay, fine. Here we go. You should be fabulous enough to have these kind of mugs where you have all your 22 intellectual properties. You should be fabulous enough to actually do this, like kind of pillows. You should be fabulous enough to do anything, to build a business. It's you trying to build a legit business. So just like opening up a restaurant, it's not a cup of tea for everyone. If I give somebody 2 crore rupees right now, fiat currency, and I ask them, hey, Jao, open up a restaurant. They might open up a shop, they might just buy that, but to run that and then to grow that is a whole another level. So giving 2 crore rupees is not an advantage. That might become 20 lakh rupees as well. Zaruri
Right.
nahi hai 20 crore hi hoga. So it's going to be fabulously intelligent over here, and then you have to be daring enough because this is so early. If you have those balls and guts and you are daring enough to do something significant for your audience, which I believe I was, and that is the reason why Jor Parivar right now stands over here without me worrying about ke kya smart contracts hoga and all. Like I minted 300 tokens without knowing that there is something known as smart contracts. I wasted that. I had to burn those 300 tokens because I didn't realize that when I do directly on OpenSea, it would be OpenSea shared collection. And this I'm talking about in the month of July. Just imagine from July till October. Right now I'm speaking about NFTs on an event. So
Right.
it's all about that daring nature which you have when you have no knowledge, like zero, null, and then you're trying to evolve with all those fast execution. So NFT is fad for people. Please try to be fabulous and daring with whatever you have. Like, look at this right now on this panel. Like, Jayanti is a founder of a technology on which we are trying to build something. So he's into a complete different league. We cannot compare what he's doing with our businesses. I am building what we were trying to do in fiat currency. Like I've sold conference tickets, Zoom calls, dinner meetings, consultation calls, masterminding, everything. In fact, my Discord right now, inside that, if I have different segments which are premium, I have sold premium spaces, just like
Right.
teacher sell kar rahe ho. So
Right.
that I covered that. So I was daring enough over there for changing perception of people who were afraid to buy 500 rupees workshops,
Right.
10,000 rupees masterminding calls. Now they are buying 1.5 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees ka what? Like everything without, first of all, without knowing what they're going to get.
Right.
So
Right.
what I'm seeing, NFTs fad jo log bol rahe na, for them, let's try to understand NFT as real estate. In real estate, there is two funda: short-term profits and long-term huge gains. Short-term profits is like when you buy a space or you rent a space, you potentially are having monthly cash flow. So for
Right.
your NFTs, you have to think that you have to be a creator nahi pehle, but collector pehle. Try to be an NFT collector. Try to buy that and try to flip them for a little bit higher price. If you are buying at 0.05, try to have those balls and fabulous and daring and all these things enough to sell it at 0.055 as well. Because that makes a huge impact. That is close to
Right.
$100. And that is 6,000 rupees, 7,000 rupees. And that if you can make a profit of 7,000 rupees, that's huge for a lot of people.
Right.
Lot of people. So that people are not having, And then the long-term gain is obviously you building IPs, you building legit businesses. So now I have built this personal branding space where I'm not doing brand endorsements, where people are still thinking that if you have personal branding space, you already have to do monetization based on the brand endorsements. Now I don't do that. Still, I'm
Right.
making money. So there are so many different channels through which you can make money, and you have to think of all those channels of monetization which you are currently doing on social media, Web 2.0 world, inside Web 3.0 DeFi or NFT world. That's my whole take for people who are saying NFT is fad. Keep saying, but change the meaning. Fabulous and daring.
Brilliant. I think anybody thinking NFT is a fad, I hope I can just record this and I can send it across to them. I think that should be a
Don't worry.
great
When Digital Pratik is speaking, it is already recorded from his end at least.
yes, and I'm sure we'll edit it and put it out too. One other thing I
Going
wanted
go
Jayanti's
yeah.
opinion on also, was that Jayanti, a lot of people are whenever we talk about NFTs, NFTs and blockchain go hand in hand. But the reality is, when you look at it from a scarcity perspective, that has been created before. Even for example in games, it has been created before without the blockchain being there. So, what is it in the blockchain which makes NFTs even more special? Is what I wanted to know from you.
Yeah, before I say that, I like what Pratik said. Someone saying, Sonu Yadav on the chat is saying, I'm in love with Pratik already, and me too, by the way. Like, so now, like going forward, someone is saying, okay, hey, what is NFT? I will just kind of give Pratik's YouTube link or some, his profile, and go there and just check it out, right?
Brilliant.
Thanks, Pratik. Yeah, your insights. Yeah. Um, on the blockchain side, basically, um, NFTs on blockchain, it means that you can trade, you can use, you can build on top of that without any kind of permission globally from day one, right? So let's say if you're building anything, a simple marketplace in India, let's say for Amazon or something like Amazon, or some content marketplace in India, digital art, or it can be anything. And if you're buying or selling something on the marketplace, it stays on the marketplace. You can't kind of do anything on top of that, right? And the content actually the kind of owned by the site which you are kind of uploading for sure, right? Here in blockchain, your content, actual content, or digital art or PFP profile pictures could be kind of on the decentralized storage, and the ownership just kind of lies on the blockchain, right? Now, once it is there, is there, right? You cannot kind of the owners can't kind of withdraw that, kind of cancel that or anything like that. Um, and um, and then you kind of you can sell, you can trade, you can buy digital art or NFTs globally from anywhere in the world, right?
Right.
So few days back, someone I was meeting someone in giving an example, right? So someone in Dubai, and he had a vintage Rolls Royce, and from 1928, and he wants to kind of sell that car.
Right.
It's very hard. Why, if you are in Dubai, if you somewhere in the world, you cannot buy that, by the way, right?
Right.
If you buy that, then there is huge things between kind of buying and moving from there to here. It's a pain. There are multiple things in between. So I'm just kind of pointing out that if you are buying a painting, real painting somewhere in the world, the same goes. Same concept goes. Like you cannot buy, like you are not eligible to buy for sure to
Right.
start with. Here, anyone in the world can go and kind of buy that. You can be a part of like community around the kind of any YouTubers, maybe US, sitting in LA, influencer. You can kind of be part of that community, and on out of that
Right.
community, it's Abhinav is kind of chatting on the chat that you can be kind of on as a community member, early community member,
Right.
be part in the community and on some kind of get NFTs or on some crypto as well. So I think this actually just kind of possible on blockchain,
Right.
not anywhere else. Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. I think, the accessibility which it brings, and just generally
yeah,
how, it kind of cuts any kind of centralization is extremely crucial. Imagine, in the future, in India especially, we always say teachers are so important, but they're not really paid well. Imagine you can cut the organizations and directly, work with them through the blockchain, through NFTs and other interesting solutions. So, completely agree there. I think I'm down to the last question now, guys. Very a job interview like question, but I would love to know from you guys as to what's the next 10 years of NFTs, in your opinion. Like, where do you see NFTs going a decade from now? I think I'd love to, first start with Prateek, if you can let me know.
Uh, I guess yeah, by listening to my answer, probably half of the people would unfollow me if they're following me. Because I'm going to say something crazy over here. Uh, Honestly, hold on. There was some.
Yeah, that's fine.
Uh,
I
Hello.
think it's Yugs.
Hello.
Yeah, I think it's fine now. Yeah, you
All
can
right.
go
I
now.
was afraid it was me. Okay, fine. Perfect. See, being a three times dropout by choice from college and not having any degree, and then trying to able to grow myself in this 11 years of past work, whenever somebody has asked me in my interview of 8 years of full-time job career as well, from 2010 to 2018, which involves call center jobs to up to product manager of Digital Marketing Institute. Whenever somebody has asked me, how do you see yourself in next 5 years? And I'm like, यार मेरे को मालूम ही नहीं है, जिंदा होंगे नहीं, you know. So like that very same thought goes in my mind when somebody asks me with respect to any business or new technology or something. We don't know. We don't know what is going to come. Like if 3 years ago somebody would have asked, hey, what is the future of Snapchat? Everybody would have said, yeah, Snapchat is the next thing. Why? Because that is the particular application which came up with this vertical thing after Periscope and all these things. And they are doing crazy shit. Instagram stories came, Snapchat ki vaat lag gayi. You know? So
Right.
similarly, we have no clue about what is going to happen. All I'm seeing is social media didn't fade away.
Right.
Social media stick till this end. Now that is the only shift which I'm seeing for the next 10, 20, 30 years, which is what is Web 3.0, which we are talking about. So it is not just NFTs, it is not just a DeFi, it is going to be Web 3.0 collectively. So just like we are not saying that, hey, Web 2.0 mein kya kar rahe ho, we are saying social media mein kya kar rahe ho. The terms have changed,
Right.
but the purpose has remained same. So tomorrow, I don't know whether people would call, hey, how are you doing in NFTs? Where NFTs are? Probably the terms might change. The technology names also might change. The logos might change. What I'm clearly seeing is we are going through a complete different shift of transacting online,
Right.
which is clearly proven right now, at least to me, because we are buying things like crazy. Like in my past 5 months, the amount of money which I have invested in my own business and in buying collectibles, oh my god, I have bought one V-Friends again because I knew the deal was decent enough. I have bought one V-Friends, my last V-Friends, at 7 Ethereum. And at that point in time, it was 19 lakh fucking rupees. 19 lakhs. मतलब गाड़ी लेने के लिए अपन लोन लेते हैं. Over here, I'm just clicking the button. 19 lakhs, boom. Property in.
Right.
So that complete thing is blowing away my mind. Like the way we are transacting, the way we would be doing online shopping, the way we would not be thinking that much about transacting, but still we would be very careful about money. People would be becoming more responsible about their money, and they will try to make even more money over here. Why?
Right.
Because people have clearly understood that NFTs or in future, whatever comes, people are not going to do just like Instagram opening. It is not going to be like, chalo Instagram try karte 3 mahine account hai na. Over here, you'll have to pay gas fee if you want to try NFTs.
Fair
You
enough.
know?
I think very interesting that again, Prateek. I would love if Fareen can add to that. Where I think the broader, I completely agree with him that the broader question really is the 3.0 metaverse, and if you can kind of talk about a little bit more about that and where NFTs come in would be helpful.
Yes, so I mean the obvious answer, I agree with digital. I mean Prateek is that kuch nahi pata kya hoga, but that's an easy answer. If you really think hard and try to imagine what could happen in the next 10 years, is that you have to see how things have unfolded historically with Web 2 platforms. They made our lives very convenient, like with the coming of like things like Zomato and Google and Facebook and Ola, Uber. It was very convenient for us. But I think NFTs and now things coming on the blockchain and generally Web3 products and metaverse as whole would probably make things more creative, and not in terms of visual design, um, but design and processes. Like how do you do things? Like early on in the conversation, you mentioned we see Web3 and metaverse already happening because on our social media platforms, we are an extension of ourselves. And with value now going into digital products, we are going to consolidate our identities online. Right now, it's on social media platforms. The next generation would be on metaverse, which is the future of the internet, where you have shared realities, either virtual, either partially or fully virtual. So I'd like to see more of people creating digital goods, different kind of things which are not possible to make into physical products right now.
Right.
But anything can be possible. You can make like avatars or like pets that you cannot own in the real world.
Fair enough. I think anybody who's curious to know and understand these aspects, I think you should definitely check out this article by Epic Games founder. It's a bunch of blurbs over the metaverse, and I think Fareen spoke a lot about that in a very interesting manner. Abhinav, I wanted to check with you. Is do you what's your take here? Obviously, and do you really think that the future of us is going to be like a Ready Player One kind of a future?
I mean, I love Pratik and Fareen's answers, but I'm going to turn it up a little bit more.
Let's do it.
Here's the scene, okay? For most of us, we've been working remote over this year and the past 2 years now, right? For most of us, whether we realize it or not, your job is now a game you play on your computer.
Right.
But what we have not realized is there are other games out there. The internet, of course, has changed our life, right? It's probably one of the best inventions ever.
Right.
But what percentage of the people that use the internet actually make money from the internet? Right now,
Right.
it's the startups, right? It's centralized in the sense that Facebook and platforms like that, Web2, they make money because you spend time there. You are contributing to growing that network, but you don't get rewarded beyond likes, beyond follows, beyond hits of dopamine. The next 10 years, and then that's just going to kick off the next 100 years, right? Although I have no clue what's going to happen beyond that, or even beyond 10 years. But what's going to happen is probably the end of jobs as we know it for people who are willing.
Right.
In the same way that companies have been able to create massive value for their shareholders, in the same way that creators are paid based on the content that they create, every single person has that opportunity now. If your remote work job is a game that you play, you will soon realize crypto, NFTs, the metaverse, there are other games that are way more financially rewarding that you
Right.
can get into right now, and you can earn not in rupees, not in whichever country you're in, but in the currency of the internet,
Right.
which is going to be tokens and Ethereum.
Brilliant. I absolutely love that answer, actually. And I was reading something very interesting where imagine the people or the first few 100 years when fire or when the wheel was invented, and we all are
Yeah.
very, like, very lucky that we're actually seeing ourselves in that timeline. Where while industrial revolution did a lot, if you look at the curve of the internet, right, in like 20-30 years from internet to phones to now blockchain, NFTs, and the metaverse, there's been such a unprecedented growth, which is extremely exciting. So yeah, I love the way that that's one of the games we are playing, and I think you're basically pressing buttons and ticking off to-do lists and getting a reward for it. So I love that
Yep.
analogy again. Last up, just I think just to close this, Jayanti, wanted to know if you want to add in anything here. What's your perspective on the future generally of NFTs?
Yeah, so for me, like, 10 years is too long for anything to predict in crypto specifically, because
Right.
I've seen this space going from 2017, 2021 are crazy, right? Like, no one knew about NFTs in 2017, and now, like, we're talking about NFTs and having panel about that.
Right.
As Pratik said, it's very hard to predict like 10 years in the future. But I would definitely see in 1 and 2 years, like, nowadays, like, the perspective of time has changed, right? For my father, I think it's true for everyone else. Like, they have done the same job uh, for their whole life. Now,
Right.
like, people just changing their jobs in 1 or 2 years every kind of time, and they just get bored, get burned out. Like, I'm seeing people getting burned out after out of college, right? I don't
Right.
know why. right? So this is the truth, right? So for them, like for us, like youth, this is like crazy. Like 10 years is too long. So what I'm seeing is that in 1 or 2 years, this the crypto and NFT. I mean, just talking about in general, because
Yeah.
I come from that perspective. So in crypto slash NFT slash DeFi and anything else, like this will kind of give you directly global accessibility from day one, and kind of financial freedom to start with for influencer digital creators, and kind of anywhere, let's say if you and with this, like you are kind of creating the new kind of jobs, right? So like you similar to
Right.
TikTok and YouTubers kind of created their own jobs, like
Right.
TikTokers and the YouTubers. I'm
Right.
seeing NFTs and the whole market will do the same. And the second thing I'm more excited about in this NFT space is like play to earn games
Right.
with NFTs in it, right? So in metaverse, of course, like it's very amazing thing. I'm seeing the people from the Philippines are playing games and kind of earning the money, like they're playing like 1 or 2 3 hours per day and earning thousands dollar per month, which is very good for them, like for us as well, for India as well, right? So I'm seeing that those kind of path going forward with NFTs. So yeah, whatever Fashin, Pratik, and Abhinav said, like this could be like one more thing to look out for if you are thinking about something in this space. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Thanks, Jayanti. I think one feedback for me is that I should never ask what's 10 years down the line ever in an NFT or in the crypto space ever. It's not gonna go well.
Come
But
on,
thank you
come
so
on.
much.
I
Yeah.
can I get just 5 seconds? I want to show the screen.
Uh-huh.
Recently, this was posted. I don't know if it is a reverse or original screen.
You
It's
can see
written
it.
Facebook
Yeah.
to change name focus on the metaverse. Now, Facebook, who has never
Right.
changed a name, they're gonna change name now, and
Right.
that to orient it to metaverse. The answer is clear. Everything is summed
And
up.
yeah, they are also saying that they would be known as a metaverse company, not a
Right.
social
Exactly.
platform. Yeah.
Not social media world, because they clearly
Yeah.
know they have to shift from web 2.0 to web 3.0. That's clear
I,
indication for people that
yeah.
NFT is fabulous and daring.
And to be honest, like if you see, like Facebook always makes a good move, even if people don't like them. They always good kind of makes a good move. Why I'm saying that, Snapchat came, Instagram came, and people saying, okay, hey, this will replace Facebook, but they are still relevant. They are
Right.
multiple things. They know, like what will be the what should we do. They are not Intel, right? They are not Nokia, basically. Simple as that. They are trying something every time. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
people
yeah.
were Jenti, people were saying that they are a copycatters. Mark Zuckerberg is a stealer copycatter. Why? Because he introduced Instagram story. अरे भाई तुम लोग फीचर बना रहे हो तो किसी को कॉपीराइट नहीं दे रहे हो, ऐसा नहीं है ना, कोई भी बना सकता है.
Yeah,
I mean, this is like Bitcoin आया, then Ethereum should not come on blockchain.
yeah,
Polygon should not come on blockchain.
yeah,
So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
and
over
also
to you, Kamal.
Facebook
Thank
said that they were wrong in building products that people love, like that was their tag. But
Right.
now they're moving towards, like Abhinav said, where you can play to earn, engage to earn, create to earn, and own to earn.
Right,
yeah,
absolutely. And I love the comments right now. If you guys want to check out on
yeah. I mean,
potential rebranding names. But
yeah,
so sorry to cut this short, guys. I think we're already a little over time, not too much, those just 3 minutes. So thank you so much for kind of keeping this so efficient and so tight. I'm sure the Pepper team is really happy with us. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, for I know all of you are really busy people. So thank you for making time. And thank you, Pavan, and the entire team at Pepper to also kind of, help this kind of come to life. It was a fantastic time. I had a fantastic time, talking to you guys, seeing the kind of interactions I'm seeing in the chat too. And yeah, hope this was a good Saturday evening session for all of you. Just wanted to say once again that this panel was brought to you by like Pepper Content, of course, and Indie Follow Network. And if you guys are looking for freelance gigs, if you're a designer, if you're an animator, definitely check out Indie Follow and get creative. I would love any feedback. And yeah, thanks once again, everybody, and thanks Team Pepper, and thanks to the audience as well. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
yeah. Bye, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.